Hi greedy 3Ders, welcome to today's episode. Now I don't do football, I'm sorry if you do, I don't, but my brother wanted me to do a little something special for him for a gift for someone even more special. So what I've done is I've ordered one of these from the mighty Amazon. This is a Cableguys football controller holder for the Xbox or the PlayStation 4, and I'm going to jazz it up a little bit into the colours that he wants, which apparently is a team in Birmingham called Aston Villa. You might have heard of them, you might not have done, but I'll show you how I did the paint process today. Stay tuned, I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, have a look at the Patreon, you'd be more than welcome to join. But if you want to see how I painted this up, stay tuned. Now the first thing I'm going to do is prime it, and I did have some wonders whether the primer would go on or whether I needed to do a little bit of sanding on it, a little bit of prep work, or maybe clean some varnish off, but I'm happy to say that the paint went straight on top of the gold without doing any prep work. So I made sure it had a really good coat of black all across, and when I was happy that it got a really good coat, I decided I needed to dry it, so I just took a hairdryer on it and I dried it and expedited the painting process. I could have waited for it to dry naturally, but it's just easier to use a hairdryer if you want to move on a little bit quicker. So I needed to do some flesh tones now, and I used some Nomad Flesh from the Army Painter Air Mega Set, and I've just concentrated on the usual points really, the arms, the face, the knees, and this is my go-to paint for skin tones. Anyone that's followed my videos before will know that, and this will be no exception. I wanted to make him look as realistic as possible and take away from that just gold finger James Bond look he got. Another layer of Barbarian Flesh now, and using it as it would be if the light was coming down on him, so I'm just aiming it down from a high angle and just giving him a bit of brightening up to the flesh tones. Now to mix up the kit, I've just used some purple and some red to give it like a burgundy colour. This was pretty much the closest I could get to the kit, and I'm sure you football fans out there will know a much better colour than this. But I just gave his top a coat all over with that. Once that had been dried and I used a hairdryer, I gave it a clear lacquer, and when I was happy that everything was dry, I moved on to the next colour. Now you can see that I've used quite a bit of masking tape and tin foil to protect him, and I'm going to take some of this console blue here, again from the Army Painter, just to paint the areas that need to be touched with this colour, and they would be the top of his arms, either side, and also his socks, giving it a really good lay. And I'm really pleased that the paints are going on well. I did start to flap a little bit before I started, thinking I'm going to have a real game getting this to stick, but everything has gone on really well, and I'm really chuffed with it. I will put a link in the description to the Cableguys model that I've used here, and I'll also put links to all the paints I'm using, so if you want to buy them directly from the description you can do so, and as an Amazon affiliate a little bit will kick back to the channel. Also just worth me saying, if you do like what you see today, subscribe to the channel. Every subscription really helps. Last little bit more masking now, and I'm moving on to some matte white air primer to do the shorts. And painting white is always difficult, but if you use an airbrush with white you tend to get a much better result, and I did give the shorts 2 coats. And once I've done that, this is what I've been using, some Rust-Oleum Crystal Clear, just to give it a coat in between layers. I have been doing this between every different colour, and here we go, a little bit of magic. And with all the masking tape off, this is what we've got. Now I've still got to go around the edges and touch him up till he looks a little bit better, but this is the kit with its colours, and I'm really chuffed how that has come out. So it's time to move to the brush stage, and I've took it indoors and I've got my wet palette and I've mixed the same colour in there as I used for his kit, and I'm just going to go around the edges here and just touch up to make sure that everything looks neat and everything looks tidy. It's really important to make sure your edges are really well defined, especially when you're going from one colour to the next. Exactly the same with the blue, and I also did a little bit of a burgundy stripe around the top of his socks as per the kit for the Aston Villa football team. There's also a line of burgundy that goes down the sides of the shorts. I've just used a flat broad brush to do that, and I've given it a stroke straight down, let it dry, and then done exactly the same again. Now moving on to the face, I'm going to just give his teeth a layer of white. I'm going to give him a cartoony character look. I don't want him to look human per se, so teeth nice and white. I'm not doing anything else with them, and I'm going to paint his eyes black. Anyone that knows how I do eyes will know that I always do it this way. That's a black inner layer on the inner part of the whites of the eyes per se, and then once all that's painted black, I'll then get a white and I'll go over it, and that will give me an eyeliner effect. There it is with a black. And I'm now, while that's drying, I'm going to do the hair using some of this brown paint to just give it a blast over. Now this isn't going to be the last colour of brown, I'm going to use some speed paint on there, but I am just going to blast a brown layer for a base layer across the hair. Now there he is with the brown hair on and the black eyes and the white teeth, looking absolutely fab. And there's the white now gone into the eyes, and you can see why I've done that, to create a shadow around the eyes. I'm going to take some of this pure red, going to mix it with a little bit of white and a little bit of brown, and I'm going to just paint across his lips. I don't want his lips to be red, I don't want them to be pink, I just want them to be a browny pinky colour, and I'm going to paint that right across using those three colours that I've just discussed with you. Next will be the pupils, and I'm just using black to put the irises, I should say. They're not really pupils, they're going to be irises, jet black irises. I'm going to have him looking forward, nice, big and round. I've put a layer of blue on the inside of them, as you can see there, and that's what he looks like at that point, looking like nice with his blue eyes. There, I've now put some eyebrows on and some black dots in, and finally some white dots just to show a little bit of a reflection in his eyes. Now for the boots, I'm just going to give them a layer of black all over. I'm not going to do too much more with the boots, apart from maybe some dry brushing across where the laces would be, going all across them, and I'm not worried about the bottom of them because I'm going to put some mud on those. Now for the hair, I'm taking some hardened leather speed paint and I'm going to pop that on. I love the Army Painter speed paints, I think they are fantastic. What a marvellous invention. If you've never used them, I do suggest you get some. They add some really wonderful layers, and there's some absolutely fantastic colours. They've released some new colours, I believe, so I will be looking into those rather soon, but really love the speed paints. Giving his eyebrows a coat of the speed paint also, and that's what his hair looks like. It's a really, really lovely colour. Really pleased with it. While the black is out and in hand, I'm just going to paint a couple of the parts of the football itself, just to take away the blandness of the white from that. The little details like this really do set the model off, and although it's a bit time consuming, it really is worth doing, and it doesn't take you too long, I guess, to just add those little bits in. And there's the ball all done. While the black is out, I'm going to go around the outer edge of the base. Again, it's really important to tidy up your work and make sure the base is looking neat and tidy for my next step, which is going to be glossing the eyes. Now some gloss varnish loaded onto a brush, blobbing it into both of the eyes and then across the teeth, and that is the varnish stage done. Looks blue, it'll look all shadowy, don't worry, it will dry clear. Now for the base, I'm just using some Vallejo mud. There'll be a link in the description where you can buy it, and that will be the base done. Splattered some mud on there, and once I've done that, a little bit of mud on the bottom of his shoes, and that's that part done. Now I wanted to make for his uniform, I wanted to make the little Aston Villa badge and also the number, so I'm using one of these. This is a Kodak Step. It's a really small printer, comes with paper and doesn't ever use ink, it just uses the paper to produce the ink. It's really good, and you just use it as a photo printer. So I looked at what I wanted, which was the Aston Villa kit. I sent it across to my printer with some numbers also that I'm going to stick on his back, and it prints off this. Now the good thing with this is it's actually sticky back, so you can cut around it, you can peel it off and stick it on. Now imagine you can do anything with this. It's a great bit of kit, and there I'm peeling off the number 14 and I'll stick that onto his back. And what a great way of creating anything you want to create. The name across the top, I just used some little figures that I had, some little letters, sticky back letters, to pop his name across the top there, and voila, simple as that. And if I just turn him round, you'll see also the Aston Villa emblem up there on the top of his shirt, and also I put another one on his shorts, and this figure is pretty much done and dusted.